Welcome to the Winston-Salem State University Annual Speech Contest. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Historically, this particular oratorical contest has had very heated conversations. They range from same-sex marriage to what's called gays in the military to increasing the minimum wage. And this year is no different. The speech contest is a very special part of the university community. It really brings life to speech. Today you will hear 4 original speeches of policy on issues and legislation of the day. On behalf of the Department of Communication and Media Studies, the National Communication Association Student Club, and the sponsor of this year's contest, WSNC-FM, we're delighted that you're here. You may have come out to support friends, family, colleagues, whoever you are here to support. We thank you. And we especially thank 4 very brave young women who signed up for this speech contest. Can we give them a hand before they come? We recognize that this program is very special, and so each participant will receive a certificate acknowledging what she has done to contribute to this activity. However, prize money will be given to those women who place first, second, and third. $125, $100, and $75 respectively. Again, we want to thank Mr. Elvin Jenkins, General Manager of WSNC-FM. Your mistress of ceremonies this afternoon is a graduating senior. She is Miss Brianna Winston, a communications major and speech minor. Ms. Winston is also the president of the National Communication Association Student Club. Ms. Winston?
Thank you, Dr. Bradford. We're so glad to see that all of you have joined us today here on University Scholarship Day. The speech contest gives undergraduate students at WSSU an opportunity to create speeches of policy about issues important to all of us. Each speech is about 4 to 5 minutes long, and they all address political policies of the 21st century. Telvin Brown, also a graduating senior and a charter member of National Communication Association, will be introducing our judge. Telvin Brown.
Thanks, Bree. We have a distinguished panel of judges. Will each judge please stand as you are introduced? First is Dr. Trey Cotton, Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs at Winston-Salem State University. Next is Daniel Richardson, Instructor of Speech Communication at North Carolina Agricultural and State University. And third is Ms. Chelsea Wiggins, a graduating senior mass communications major who is also Vice President of the National Communications Association Student Club. Let's thank our judges for the very important work they will do this afternoon. This afternoon, our timekeeper will be Asha Joe, a graduating senior, English major, and speech minor. Let's give all of our judges and our timekeeper a round of applause.
Thank you, Telvin. Our first contestant this evening is going to be Ms. Jessica Davis. She's a sophomore, mass communications major from Charlotte, North Carolina. The title of Ms. Davis' speech is #StayWoke. Ms. Jessica Davis.
A little black girl with pigtails, overalls, and kids sits on the front porch swing of her grandmother's house. She watches her feet dangle as her shoelaces drag underneath her. She sits and talks to her father about all the things she did today and all the friends she made in school. A school where the little girl was the only black girl in class. A school that had rebel flags waving in the air on the back of 4 trucks in the car rider line. A school that has never acknowledged the 28 days in February as a historical and prideful remembrance of African American inventors and leaders. And the only ones that could relate to her or that looked like her were custodians and lunch ladies instead of teachers in a classroom. Her father listens to her thoroughly and nods his head after every sentence. A long pause goes by and he looks at her and sternly says, "Baby, never fall asleep." There's a hashtag going around social media. I'm sure some of you have heard it. It's hashtag Stay Woke. This hashtag basically persuades people of color to never fall asleep and to never become ignorant of their surroundings and social injustice in their world. I will discuss 2 quotes made by media icons that made the hashtag monumental. In response to Beyonce's homage to the Black Panther Party, news reporter Tommy Lawrence states, "You were just like President Obama, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Al Sharpton, and so many others that just can't let America heal. Keep ripping off the historical Band-Aid." Band-Aid. Noun, an adhesive bandage with a gauze pad in the center used to cover minor wounds. A temporary solution. Band-Aids are used to cover blemishes, scars, and wounds, because who wants pain to be visible on a body that portrays to be perfect? So we just cover it up. Hashtag Stay Woke. Reporter Jeremy Diamond from CNN states, quote, "Donald Trump is leading his rival for the Republican nomination by more than 20 points in the upcoming primary contest in New York and Pennsylvania," end quote. I know some of you are thinking, Donald Trump, yes, what in the world? But why are we surprised? These votes are coming from the same country where a group of educators received 20 years for changing test scores, but Jared receives 5 years for actually physically, mentally, and emotionally abusing children. Hashtag Stay Woke. This is the same country where you can receive years for selling a gram, but a troubled teen gets put on probation for actually murdering 4 people. Hashtag Stay Woke. This is the same country where a man can be placed into prison for dogfighting, but a governor allegedly can poison an entire city and still be in office. So are we really surprised? Hashtag Stay Woke. As I conclude, being the strong Christian that I am, it's only right to leave you with scripture. In Matthew 8, the scripture explains the story of Jesus sleeping through a storm. Now, although Jesus was so calm and serene and he was able to fall asleep, he was still aware of the trouble that was around him. This goes for the hashtag Stay Woke. It is not intended for us as citizens to walk around on ice or be afraid, but be well aware that we're in the midst of a storm. But just like Jesus, we have a motto: in God we trust. So I thank you all today for getting the little black girl that was on the swing with her father, who told her to never fall asleep, the opportunity to speak at a speech contest at an HBCU, persuading her colleagues and professors to hashtag Stay Woke. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jessica Davis. Our second contender is Ms. Marsha Ford. She is a junior chemistry major from Seattle, Washington. She has future aspirations to become a formulation lab associate. Her personal motto is, "It's not about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about dancing in the rain." The title of Ms. Ford's speech is "The NCAA Should Pay Collegiate Athletes a Yearly Salary." Ms. Marsha Ford.
According to USNews.com, the National Collegiate Athletic Association makes about $6 billion annually off of collegiate sports. Taking this into consideration, athletes get no financial compensation off of those earnings. With the duties of upholding their grades and on top of sports, athletes really have no time for a job. The NCAA requires athletes to take off 1 day off of a 7-day week from any athletic activities. Athletes, on average, practice about 4 hours a day, which is 26 hours a week, which fills the time of a part-time job. Taking this into consideration, Keith Carradine's journal, New Directions for Student Services, talks about the toll of mental stress and physical exhaustion, from taking part of their sports activities, not considering the rehabilitations from injuries that could possibly happen during the season. Also, taking into the fact that athletes don't have time to uphold a part-time job, the NCAA could very much well afford to pay student athletes for their athletic endeavors. The NCAA's website rules that the payment of athletes is to be constricted under any outside participations, and they're not to be paid under the table. According to GoBankings.com, the NCAA's Division I, which is the highest earning division of the athletic conference, makes about $4,700 million annually. Only 40% of that is put back into the basketball fund, and then only 5% of that is put into the academic funds for students. Though the NCAA insists that academics is their main goal for their student athletes, putting only 5%, which is roughly $22 million, back into their academics for their students is fairly small. A counter argument that is presented to my topic is that student athletes receive full scholarships. Well, according to the U.S. Department of Education, full scholarships are not entire. Example they gave is the Ohio State tuition for out-of-state students is roughly around $3,500. When student athletes are promised a full scholarship, they are given roughly around $2,000, which covers tuition and fees. Room and board is left for the athlete to pay. Leaving them a bill with $15,000. Also, in the collegiate athletic sports industry, there's a lot of shady business that goes under the table, such as payment under the table of coaches and athletes getting gifts and special treatment. With the payment of collegiate athletes, some of that shady business and under the hand table payment could be eliminated if they were given a yearly salary. In summation, considering all the things I talked about collegiate athletes not having time and putting forth their hardest work into $1 billion industry, can you imagine being a part of such an industry that makes so much money and not getting any financial compensation? Those Saturday games that we all love to enjoy as faculty, staffs, and students, we wouldn't be able to enjoy without the athletes. And without the payment of athletes, there would be no game. So don't let our starving athletes go on without financial benefit from their hard work and endeavors. My name is Maisha Ford, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Our third contestant today is Ms. Ashana Giles. Ms. Giles is from Durham, North Carolina. She is a sophomore, birth to kindergarten major. Her aspirations are to become an educator and a business owner. Her personal motto was written by an unknown author. A meaningful life is not by being rich or popular, but being highly educated and being real and humble, and being able to share ourselves and touch the lives of others. Ms. Ashana Giles.
Black in America. Close your eyes and imagine. You're going to the bank on payday, just like your white counterpart the day before, and the banker tells you that your check reads insufficient funds. Insufficient funds. However, your white counterpart the day before had no issue with cashing this check. This is an example of the type of mistreatment African Americans and people of color have been experienced in the United States for centuries. Let's go back. 1963, Washington, D.C., where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech. Dr. King knew that Negro people were not being treated fairly. Let me share a little bit of his speech. America has given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient funds. We refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there's insufficient funds in the great vault of opportunities. So we come to cash this check, a check that will give us, upon great demand, riches and freedoms and social justice. And today, April 12th, 2016, the check is still coming back over 50 years later, insufficient funds. This is why we need to march. There's many reasons why, but today I'm going to only express 3. 1, black males are being killed daily, approximately twice in 1 week. According to the U.S. News, black males only make up 2% of America's population. But, however, between the ages of 15 and 34, black males make up 15% of deaths by deadly force, 5 times higher than white males by police officers. 2 and 15. 2 and 15. That 15 number is just a little too high for me, which is why we need to march. 2, now this speech isn't just about black males. Black women are still struggling as well. Black women actually get paid the lowest next to Hispanic women. In 2014, study shows that African American women only make 20% of their white counterparts' salary. I'm sorry, 63%, which is equal to working 6 months free. Me personally, I don't like working for free, which is why I need to march. 3, the students. I'm a student. Students of the Ivy League and predominantly white universities have been complaining about discrimination on campuses. According to ABC News, on the campus of Duke University, African American students found a noose hanging from a tree. Pretty offensive, huh? Which is why we need to march. As you can see, the Civil Rights Acts of 2008 have failed us. The Civil Rights Act of 2008 was put in place to fix all the others. All 11 Civil Rights Acts have not worked, and this one isn't either. Which is why we need to march. So the next Civil Rights Act can actually work and benefit people of color. Within these 4 to 5 minutes, if I did not motivate you to do something about this and to continue to march, ask yourself this. In the next 50 years, how do you see the United States and the world? Do you see black people still being the minority? Do you see the non-existence of HBCUs like Winston-Salem State University, where we all are sitting at today? How about, do you see the African-American male population to be second highest in the prison system? And yes, the first is African-American women. Do you see black women still being the bottom of the totem pole? Or how about this? Do you still see black mothers crying endlessly because they have to go and identify the body of their own children? This is why we need to march. People like Martin Luther King Frederick Douglass and Angela Davis all were given a check. And today, I feel as if the new generation should cash that check of our riches and ask, what do you do? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Giles. Our fourth contestant today is Ms. Tatiana Streeter. Ms. Streeter is a freshman communications and media studies major from Salisbury, North Carolina. Her future aspiration is to become a motivational speaker. Her personal motto is, pursue your dreams. The title of Ms. Streeter's speech is The Corporal Punishment Must Be Banned in Schools. Ms. Tatiana Streeter.
Corporal punishment must be outlawed in every state in this country. Why? Because corporal punishment is criminal. It is used to cause physical pain. According to the American Heritage Dictionary, it means to beat severely with a whip or rod. During this speech this afternoon, you will hear me make a strong case against corporal punishment. It is never acceptable. It must be banned. Corporal punishment has no place in the education of children. It is too severe. It's misconduct by teachers. Corporal punishment must be banned in schools. According to the Washington Post, 19 states still allow corporal punishment in schools. That is 19 states too many. In the state of North Carolina, as it still allows corporal punishment, children are at risk of being physically punished. Teachers in our school systems have the right to lay their hands on our precious children. Children may feel abused because they are getting spanked by people who they are not attached to. I can see spanking children at home, but do you think that will teach them a lesson? It may or it may not. Regardless, in the school system, putting your hands on children is prohibited. Again, I say corporal punishment should be banned in schools. There is no space for severe punishment in educating young children. I can see suspension or detention, but hitting another child is a problem. But hitting another child who does not belong to you is a problem. Why is it a problem? Corporal punishment is a problem in the whole school systems because of the way the child may react. The child may act obstinate in the classroom. According to the late U.S. Senator Robert Kennedy, the United States is the only nation in the Western world which still permits corporal punishment in its schools. Kennedy made this statement in the 19th century. Today is the 21st century, and yet it continues. We must ban corporal punishment in all schools, including North Carolina. We must go against this type of discipline. As a resident of North Carolina, I do not agree with allowing corporal punishment in public or private schools. In an article called Corporal Punishment in the 21st Century, an examination of Supreme Court decisions by Madden and Hallahan, they looked at different cases that have validated corporal punishment. Is it okay to beat or severely punish children in school? No, it is not okay to beat or severely punish children that do not belong to us because of misbehavior. There is another way of teaching a child from right from wrong. The other way is for teachers to not have any physical force towards the child. Corporal punishment is too severe. The child may feel hurt physically and emotionally. Children may tend to cry and get upset when they are getting physically punished. They may also feel that they want to be left alone due to embarrassment. Emotionally, the child may feel sad, left out, and unloved. You just heard me make statements about why corporal punishment is too severe. Anyone, innocent or not, can receive this form of treatment, and it just isn't fair. My cousins, nieces, and nephews are at risk of being one of the victims of corporal punishment. Why? Their ages are between 5 and 10, in which they are residents of North Carolina and attend schools in this state that allows corporal punishment. If you agree with allowing corporal punishment in the school systems, just ask yourself this question. Would you like anyone using any type of physical force on your child?
Let's give another round of applause for our good presenters today.
Welcome to the National Communication Association Student Club ceremony. It is my pleasure to introduce to you first the chapter's officers and our charter members. So if you would, when I call your name, please come to the front of the room and stand to my right. First is President Brianna Winston. Ms. Winston. Vice President Chelsea Wiggins. And as you're aware, Chelsea Wiggins is one of our judges. Next is our Secretary Leah Robertson, who had a family emergency, so she's not with us. Next is our Treasurer, Deja Craddock. Our Parliamentarian is Shaheem Williams. And we have with us our Charter member, Asha Joel, who is also our timekeeper, and Charter member, Telvin Brown, who is also a part of our program. And if you would, please give our officers a hand.
The National Communications Association Student Club, or NCASC, is the official student club of National Communications Association. Joining NCASC means that you will become a member of one of the 35 clubs across the nation recognizing the work of outstanding communication students. Created in 1995, NCASC have made a commitment to enriching lives of undergraduate students in the communications and media studies field, as well as students who are not in that field.
The purpose of NCASC is to provide a forum for interaction among students, faculty, and others interested in the study, research, criticism, training, and application of the artistic, humanistic, and scientific principles of communication.
And finally, as I call your names, please come forward to receive your certificate of membership. First person. Miss Jessica Davis.
Stand on that side.
Next, we have Miss Shaniqua Horn. Miss Tamara Settle. And our chairperson, Dr. Brian.
As newly inducted members of National Communication Association Student Club, do you accept the challenge to maintain high academic and leadership and community service standards set forth by the organization and to serve as examples for the high achievement of the club?
I do. Yes.
I now present to you the newly inducted members of the National Communication Association Student Club of Winston-Salem State University. Now we will have a couple of remarks from our chairperson, Dr. Brian Blunt.
I want to thank each and every one of you for attending this very important event. It is very essential that students get the opportunity to publicly speak and perform as they are today. I want to thank all the advisors and all of the student leaders who have placed a lot of effort in making this a very successful event. And I would like to say best wishes to all of you, and thank you for coming and joining us today.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis, and thank you to Dr. Patterson Masuka and Dr. Bradford for our guidance from the National Communication Club. Our next presentation is by Ms. Charisma Hayes, a former student of Dr. Bradford in Fundamentals of Speech. Charisma is a political science major who enjoys being creative and interested in community service. She will recite several of her original poems. Ms. Charisma Hayes.
The temptation effect. Have you ever been tempted, eager to do something that you have no business doing? That urge, that craving, that build-up feeling that seems to not go away. These feelings start to elevate, raise or lift, and even escalate, increase rapidly. This, my darling, is called temptation. Yes, indeed, it's a powerful matter, but can be controlled. It is all up to you to make such a decision with your mind that God has created for you, instead of desirable feelings and thoughts of thirst. You have what it takes before it is too late to be great. Okay, that was one of my poems. Here's another poem, Lateness. There is no reason as to why you should be late, young flesh. You are strong and capable in life, so why must you miss opportunities due to lateness? Why aren't you taking advantage of the possibilities that the world holds for you and I? You must not let time tick away before you collect dust upon you. Set reminders, create a vision board, do whatever it takes to get up and on your feet, to be on time. Do whatever you can do before you sink yourself more into the hole that you have created upon yourself. To be late in life will cause failure, and it will hold you back from reaching your full potential in life. So why be late when you have the world upon you? Thank you.
At this point, we will have Ms. Sade Joyner, of classification, a junior and a mass communication major. She will come forward and to talk about the special project that took place on campus last month.
Hello, my name is Sade Joyner. I am a junior Communication and Media Studies major, speech minor from Wilson, North Carolina. And on March 15th, the students in the Department of Communication and Media Studies participated for the first time in World Speech Day. Over 170 events were held during this day in over 30 countries. And according to the man who organized this, who was Simon Gibson, who is from UK, he stated that in places like Mongolia and Singapore, and also New Zealand and the Democratic Republic of Congo, this was a big event. And just imagine coming together on one day during World Speech Day and just expressing how you feel or how you can make the world better. We would like to share with you 2 World Speech Day projects developed in our department. And the first one is from the National Communication Association Student Club. And then the second one is a collaborative effort between students in the Intercultural Communications course and also students who are enrolled in the field production classes. And as you listen to our speeches, we hope that you'll be inspired to share your power of your voice next year on World Speech Day, March 15, 2017. And if you are interested in joining the National Communications Association Student Club, be sure to meet us on every first and third Wednesday of each month. Thank you.
Through public speaking, we wield enormous power. Simply stated, speech is powerful because, in the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, it persuades, it converts, it compels. And today, we've heard 4 compelling policy speeches, whether persuading us to hashtag stay woke and be aware of social injustices, or arguing that the NCAA should pay collegiate athletes a yearly salary, or convincing us of the need to continue the march, or calling for a ban on corporal punishment in schools. Our contestants constructed very convincing political speeches, and I say we give them all another round of applause. attention, first of all, to our fourth place contestant, who is Miss Maisha Ford. Did I say that correctly? Maisha Ford. You can just stand up. Third place and the winner of $75 goes to Miss Tatiana Streeter. Great job. Thank you. Second place and winner of $100 is Miss Ashana Giles. And the winner of the 2016 speech contest and recipient of $125 is Miss Jessica Davis. Can we give all our contestants a round?
Now we will have closing remarks by Dr. Bradford.
Again, thank you to our contestants. It takes courage to stand in front of your peers to say anything, let alone give a 4 to 5 minute speech. However, each year the Speech Contest Committee, which is comprised of Dr. Sansare Spies, Dr. Andrea Patterson-Masuka, and myself, get our heads together and our creative juices, and when we do that, something always happens. And this time, what is different about the contest is that it's being recorded. We want to thank Mr. Kevin Fuller, who is broadcast engineer in the Department of Communication and Media Studies, and my former learner in phonetics. Want to thank him. All right. And anyone else who was involved in that production. Next year, we hope that someone who is sitting in this audience will participate in the speech contest as a contestant. We want to thank our chairperson, Dr. Brian Blunt, once again for supporting this oratorical contest each year. And each one, teach one, each one, reach one. Come here in April 2017. Thank you so much.